I started my life in the sun-drenched, chaotic streets of Miami, working tirelessly as a dedicated microbiologist, specializing in rare marine bacteria and antibiotic resistance. My only constant, my reason for enduring, was my quiet younger sister. My simple, disciplined life was violently interrupted when Mr. Jasper Thorne claimed it. He was the volatile, immensely powerful heir to Thorne Global Pharmaceuticals, a man whose word dictated global public health policies and whose ruthless reputation was unparalleled. He wasn't just wealthy. He was a tidal wave of possessive charm who saw the sharp, analytical mind behind my lab work, not the meager funding of my research. "This is my Jasper, the brilliant, reckless lord of medicine," I would whisper to myself, clinging to the desperate hope that his fierce, consuming focus was true love, not just another corporate takeover. He was my improbable savior, my complicated hero. Our bond was forged in the fire of his ambition. For 9 years, Jasper's devotion was absolute, a magnificent, suffocating presence that sheltered me completely. He knew my greatest passion was molecular modeling, and to support this, he made a decision that cost his empire millions. He temporarily resigned from his CEO role and moved with me to Oslo, where I pursued a specialized pharmaceutical development degree. I fought against the guilt, knowing the immense corporate risk. "Jasper, you can't risk the company. The stock is dropping, and the board is demanding your immediate return." But his possessive loyalty was unyielding. "It doesn't matter, Lyra. I would lose $750 million just to see you achieve that degree. Money is merely a dosage. Your intellect is the cure." He made his commitment public and undeniable, purchasing the entire front page of major medical and scientific journals for 900 consecutive days, publicly demanding my hand in marriage. The Thorne family was vehemently opposed to our union, viewing me as a low-born laboratory liability. Jasper faced them with his usual brutality. "Jasper is confined to the clean room again. Mr. Thorne, the family elders are revoking your access to the core drug patents for another quarter," the staff would whisper, fueling my profound guilt. I tried to release him. "Tell them to end it. I don't need your name. Just let me stay with you, away from the chaos." But he was obsessed with making me his wife, his ultimate conquest. After a brutal, extended battle, he won. "Lyra, they finally conceded. We are getting married," he roared, his voice thick with triumphant exhaustion. "I promised you a life where you could solve any disease. It's yours now." I genuinely believed our happy ending was secured. The darkness consumed our story just 8 months ago with Vivian Rhodes, a sharp, ambitious public health auditor who handled Thorne Global's most sensitive compliance cases. Vivian quickly became Jasper's new, consuming obsession. The atmosphere in our home turned suffocatingly cold. "Darling, you're becoming illogical. You know I demand absolute cold data," he'd say, the affection replaced by professional scrutiny. I tried to understand his new connection. "Jasper, what was discussed with Vivian regarding the new clinical trial results?" Vivian, the master manipulator, had staged a dramatic withdrawal, cutting off all professional ties to make Jasper chase her. His paranoia centered instantly on me. "Jasper, I swear I didn't interfere with Vivian." His face was cold, his mind closed. "You are questioning my choice of auditor, Lyra. My younger sister, Mia, was my one fragile lifeline. She suffered from severe allergic anaphylaxis and respiratory collapse since childhood 5 years ago, requiring constant, specialized air filtration and complex epinephrine treatments. Jasper had secured her exceptional care, a fact he now ruthlessly exploited. "Don't touch Mia. She's all I have. Please, you must believe me. I never saw Vivian." His response was chillingly cruel. "Vivian's regulatory insight is now my absolute priority." He gave me a chilling ultimatum, a countdown against my brother's fragile life. "Darling, 25 seconds remaining. You know Mia's filtration system will fail in 90 seconds without immediate manual override. You are my asset, Lyra, and Vivian is my strategic counsel, he stated, asserting his absolute ownership. Confess what you told her to make her quit the audit. The injustice was a physical ache. Jasper, I haven't seen her since the last compliance meeting. Why do you choose to believe her lies over my loyalty? His rage was absolute. My time is over. Mia is at risk. 10, 9, 8, 7. Stop, I'll talk. I admitted the soul-crushing lie. I told her to respect our marriage and cease all professional contact. His reaction was pure dominance. You disobeyed my direct orders. Remember who controls Mia's critical treatment. Vivian, the calculated auditor, played the victim perfectly. Mr. Thorne, Ms. Rhodes is highly distressed. She's doing pro bono work for vaccine safety advocacy, offering her expertise for free, his staff reported. Vivian, despite her documented history of impulsive resignation and emotional instability, was, in Damon's eyes, the epitome of ethical integrity. The more she resisted him publicly, the more obsessed he became. Ms. Rhodes claims your wife harassed her at the advocacy center. She refuses to return to Thorne Global, the legal team warned, ensuring I was painted as the volatile, jealous wife. The final agonizing destruction of my spirit came with the loss of our child. Jasper, the pain is overwhelming. Mr. Thorne, call a doctor. I screamed, the premature labor gripping me. Confine her to the hazardous waste disposal room for a full 24 hours of silence. Yes, sir, he commanded, his voice utterly devoid of human kindness. The head of security, Mr. Hayes, pleaded with him. Mr. Thorne, she's hemorrhaging badly. She is losing the baby. Jasper's response was definitive. How dare she get pregnant without my express authorization? Do not call emergency services. This child was an unauthorized complication. Leave her where she is. My final, desperate screams were swallowed by the soundproof walls. My baby! Please don't let me bleed out. Save our child. The guards were impassive. Ma'am, Mr. Thorne's orders are final. You must remain confined. All I had ever wanted was a child, a legacy of our own. Now he was sacrificing it for his ego. You locked your pregnant wife in this hazardous room to die. The cold, agonizing silence that followed the loss was the epitaph of my love. Jasper, the baby is gone. I don't want you. The baby is truly gone. Our marriage was utterly dead. The divorce and the public humiliation were swift. I apologized to Vivian under duress, and she accepted with triumphant malice. The divorce was finalized. $500 million in compensation, a massive, insulting payoff. My heart was a frozen wasteland. I don't want to love you anymore. My body began the slow, painful process of healing, but my mind was already focusing on the strategic, calculated precision required for my definitive escape. Jasper, completely detached from the human wreckage he had caused, was entirely consumed with the public display of Vivian Rhodes. She was his new professional status symbol, his constant companion at every medical conference and corporate acquisition. Meet Vivian Rhodes, the brilliant auditor who ensures our regulatory compliance, he'd announce, his words a calculated dismissal of my scientific contributions. The media was predictably obsessed. How did Ms. Rhodes manage to anchor the volatile Thorne? He's obsessed with her strategic composure. They proclaimed her the superior intellect, the indispensable partner Jasper had been seeking, effectively erasing me from the narrative of his success. Vivian, the ambitious auditor, demanded his attention relentlessly. Jasper, look at this complex compliance plan I designed. Revolutionary. And this risk assessment matrix too, she'd boast. Jasper's fixation was now centered on her emotional volatility, which he pathologically reframed as the fragile complexity of genius. He poured massive funds into specialized psychiatric teams, all to no avail. When the doctors couldn't offer a permanent cure, Jasper's temper was terrifying. He threatened to induce the same emotional volatility in himself. I spent over $1 billion on this. You can't even stabilize a basic emotional disorder? You're all incompetent, he roared. Vivian, the master of calculated calm, would soothe him. Jasper, please, it's my burden. You've done everything. If they can't cure your instability, I'll force myself to endure the same mood swings so we can be equally afflicted, he vowed. His possessiveness twisted into a shared, dark madness. I understood then that his love was terrifyingly generic and interchangeable. 5 years ago, when my sister Mia was diagnosed, Jasper had hired the world's best allergists to stabilize her. But unlike Vivian, Mia remained critically dependent on her treatments. I was finalizing my plan, determined to free both of us from the thorn cage. Mia, I'm leaving. I can't take you with me, but I'll make sure you are safe, far from his sight. I had to accept that Jasper was not my savior. He was the orchestrator of my destruction. Just a few more hours, Mia. Then we will both achieve absolute freedom. My plan for erasure was comprehensive and non-negotiable. I had secured a new identity and planned to vanish in less than 24 hours. I auctioned off every single gift, every rare microbiology text, and every piece of specialized lab equipment he had ever given me. Transfer the deed for the Bermuda offshore lab back to Thorn Global immediately. I was meticulous. Everything here belongs to Jasper, and it all goes back. It's time to become completely untraceable. The small, sterile room where he proposed, surrounded by glowing petri dishes, was utterly meaningless. I burned a fragile, hand-drawn diagram of a new antibiotic compound I'd been developing, the one he once pretended was his greatest scientific discovery. No point keeping these relics of a lie. The heavy gold pipette he gave me, used for 9 years, was the last item. It symbolized a lifetime of false devotion. Jasper discovered my purge during the final minutes. "What are you burning? Nothing worth your attention," I lied, my voice steady. "Where is the master formula for the new vaccine I gave you?" he demanded, the highly sensitive intellectual property he now wanted for Vivian. "Give it to Vivian. It's no longer my property." I agreed, the irony of returning his key to the kingdom palpable. "We're divorced. It's not mine to keep." I was leaving, and I needed my soul to be truly unburdened. Vivian, the final executioner, engineered a public, career-defining spectacle at a major public health conference. "Jasper treats you so well, showering you with awards? Don't be jealous. Soon, I'll control all the drug patents you forfeited," she hissed. "Vivian, we are divorced. Why are you still here? Jasper has no use for you now. Stop being pathetic." I walked away, but she pursued. "I'm leaving. Stop the pretense. You never returned that master formula." She claimed her final prize. "I took what belongs to me. Lyra Thorne, I won't let a discarded scientist ruin my auditor career." "What are you doing?" she shrieked, executing a flawless dive down a massive glass-walled staircase. She attacked me. She would rather destroy the formula than give it to me. She threw herself down the stairs to frame me. She wept, the perfect victim. Jasper, utterly convinced, only saw my jealousy. "Security, attend to Ms. Rhodes immediately. Vivian, my brilliant asset, I'll resolve this." He turned on me with cold fury. "Lyra, why are you so predictable? I warned you not to challenge Vivian. Why can't you simply obey me?" My truth was instantly irrelevant. "She's lying. She injured herself," I insisted. "You always defy me. You won't admit your jealousy. Fine. You know the consequence. Family discipline." I reminded him of his own pain. "Jasper, you chose the rod over abandoning me." He was punished severely by his family. "I will marry her, grandfather. I will never marry another woman," he had declared. Now, he was the executioner. "Jasper, what did I mean to you?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. He simply ordered me to apologize to Vivian. A former lead scientist offered the final cold wisdom. "Mr. Thorne needs total scientific submission. If you want to stay, you must be his compliant asset." I understood the dynamic. Jasper was a controlling, narcissistic patriarch. I was his puppet. Vivian was simply a more polished, current version of the compliant mind he demanded. The only thing left to do was leave the stage, permanently. If you followed Lyra's devastating journey, through the loss of her child, the fear for Mia, and the constant crushing psychological warfare, you know this story is about the immense battle to save your soul from a love that tries to own you entirely. Her final, quiet decision to choose herself over his billions is the ultimate act of heroism. If Lyra's resolve to walk away, leaving his fortune, and his madness behind, resonated with the quiet strength in you, please don't let this moment pass in silence. Stop scrolling, tap that like button, and hit subscribe to join our community of survivors. More importantly, I want to hear your voice in the comments. If you had to write a fictional ending for your own hardest chapter, what one character, like Vivian or Jasper, would you erase completely to find peace? Let's connect through our stories and turn our pain into wisdom. Your honesty is what keeps this channel alive. Thanks sincerely. My departure was not an act of emotional desperation. It was a strategic withdrawal executed with the cold logic of a scientist. I spent 10 days finalizing the logistics. I had already secured the $500 million and immediately allocated the vast majority of it to a cutting-edge, specialized immunology and allergy treatment center in remote Alaska. My focus was entirely on my sister, Mia. I established a permanent, fully funded trust for her continuous medical care, covering all her complex allergy and respiratory needs. My instructions to the facility were absolute: a high-security, completely anonymous transfer, and verifiable secrecy from any and all entities connected to Thorn Global. With the funding secured and the transfer scheduled, I made my final clandestine trip to the Thorn compound. The moment I arrived, I was intercepted by Jasper's brutal security detail. Ms. Rhodes, Mr. Thorn has issued a new order. You are strictly forbidden from the sterile lab wing. I knew instantly. Jasper was moving to exploit Mia's vulnerability. A desperate, terrified nurse managed to slip me a note. They are trying to seize Mia's specialized air filtration unit. Your sister's life is at risk. Jasper had sent Vivian's brother, a known mercenary, and a security detail to reclaim the proprietary life support machinery. What are you doing? This is a sterile unit, I screamed, confronting the men. My brother-in-law, Mr. Thorn, wants this equipment. It is his property. Get out of our way, Vivian's brother shouted, his face contorted with malice. No, please, she'll go into shock and die. I fought them, throwing my body against the complex machinery. I shoved Vivian's brother hard, sending him stumbling back against a stack of equipment. You unstable maniac! You assaulted a family member! This equipment belongs to Jasper! If you want revenge, go fight him! They snarled. The final fatal blow was delivered. The air filtration unit and life support were forcefully disconnected, causing immediate, catastrophic anaphylactic shock. Jasper, make them stop! Save my sister! I screamed, the sound of my desperation swallowed by the sterile room. Doctors rushed in, but the damage was irreversible. The paralyzing shock of that moment was a cold, absolute silence that transcended all my previous trauma. Mia, my sweet sister, I should have protected you better. This is my fault. I regret every minute I wasted trying to be his wife, I whispered, holding her small, cold hand. Mia, I'm taking you home. We're going to be free. I quickly arranged the necessary documents for her cremation. Her death was the final price paid for my absolute freedom. Her suffering became the catalyst for my liberation. I arranged for a simple memorial for the life we would never share, but I carried her favorite, worn-out children's microscope with me. Mia, I won't leave you. You were always my anchor. Now you'll travel with me. Her passing meant Jasper had no leverage left to control me. My final conversation with Jasper was brief and terrifyingly calm. Love, just be patient. Once I finish this hostile takeover, I'll make everything right, he purred, still convinced I was his trophy wife. He tried his last, empty threat. You need to be compliant, or your brother will suffer the consequences. My voice was a monotone of truth. My brother is gone, Jasper. You have nothing left to threaten me with. I have nothing to lose. His denial was explosive. If you behave, no one will suffer. Where do you think you're going? You cannot leave me, Lyra. You cannot exist without me. I played the role one last time. You are right. I can't live without you. I'm just going to rest. I need to be beautiful for our upcoming anniversary. The escape plan was fully activated. Ms. Rhodes, your liquid assets transfer is complete. Understood. Mia, we are leaving. I booked a one-way flight to Country O. Flight UA 800 is now boarding at Gate 25. Last call for passengers. With my new identity and my sister's memory, I felt an exhilarating, terrible finality. Mia, be happy for me. I am no longer Jasper Thorne's possession. I am free. Jasper Thorne, may we never cross paths again. Jasper, meanwhile, was preparing a massive, narcissistic spectacle for our 10th anniversary, convinced he could buy my forgiveness. Mr. Thorne, the venue is ready. The rare molecular models are all in place, his staff confirmed. Lyra will be so moved. She'll run back to me, he declared. The discovery of my absence broke him completely. Mrs. Thorne is not home, sir. All her financial accounts are closed. His world shattered. She abandoned me. I was her entire life. Where could she possibly go? He demanded immediate action. Find her. I refuse to believe she'd abandon Mia. The ultimate truth, delivered by his terrified chief of security, confirmed his ruin. Mr. Thorne, all records are wiped clean. Your wife is gone. And sir, her sister, she passed away several days ago. Jasper erupted in a terrifying primal fury. How could he die? I paid for the best care. Lyra, you set me up. You think I won't find you? I will use every resource. I will track you down to the ends of the earth. Lyra Rhodes, stop this pathetic pretense. If you won't come back, then stay gone forever. His desperate roar was the last sound of the prison I had escaped. Jasper's sanity evaporated completely, transforming his grief into a destructive, volatile force that threatened to dismantle Thorne Global Pharmaceuticals. Vivian Rhodes, still clinging to her perceived power, approached the ruined CEO. Jasper, this is ridiculous. I'm here now. Why the tantrum about Lyra? She challenged, thinking she could regain control. His gaze was empty, focused on a distant internal horizon. You were nothing more than a temporary clinical report, Vivian. My approval gave you status. Without it, you are irrelevant data. You dare compare yourself to my wife? Faced with his sudden, devastating cruelty, Vivian threatened to resign, but he seized her with cold control. You are my asset in this game, Vivian. You will fulfill your contract, or you will fail publicly. His desperate hunt for me began with a terrifying, absolute retaliation. Mr. Thorne, the investigation is final. Mrs. Thorne liquidated all assets, including the Bermuda lab, and completely disappeared off-grid. She wants to be gone forever, his chief investigator reported. Jasper's first act was vengeance. Arrest Vivian Rhodes' entire family. Lyra, I will avenge you. He tracked down the lawyer who handled Mia's trust. Where is the lawyer? Tell me. Lyra left a massive fund for Mia's care. Name your price. Jasper's cruelty against Vivian was public and relentless. He had her entire family imprisoned and subjected her to the same psychological abuse I had suffered, including forcing her into public humiliations and targeted stress. You caused Lyra's breakdown and the loss of my child. Now pay the price. He then orchestrated the financial ruin of her father and commanded his staff to subject Vivian to intense, targeted stress, including simulated massive clinical trial failure and public regulatory denouncement, until I returned or she broke. Listen closely. This is only the beginning. I must repay the debt of pain I owe Lyra. Meanwhile, I was quietly building my new life in Country O. a large, secluded Asian city known for its advanced biomedical research and public health initiatives, completely anonymous. I had adopted the identity Anna Solis. Jasper knows my old patterns. This anonymity is my only safety. The past is finally starting to recede, I reflected, finding a deep, restorative peace in my chosen obscurity. I kept only a single, heavily annotated printout of a landmark public health study he had once gifted me, the tangible proof of my true purpose. My first true connection was with Dr. Kenji Sato, a kind, brilliant epidemiologist. "Hello, I'm Dr. Sato, your neighbor. Your work on disease modeling is truly groundbreaking. It shows real foresight." I was guarded. "I'm new here, Dr. Sato. I prefer a low profile." Jasper's obsession, however, knew no boundaries. He was eventually released from custody after his estranged uncle, who had always opposed Jasper's cruelty, intervened. Jasper's immediate action was to eliminate his internal enemies. "You will spend the rest of your life watching Thorn Global dominate the market. Lyra, I am coming for you. I know you still love me. I will bring you home." His corporate revenge was swift and absolute, recovering all the company's financial losses in 7 days and proving his terrifying power was fully intact. Jasper finally located me through the government official who changed my identity. Her new identity is Anna Solis. Find her. He arrived in Country O, tracking me to my small, quiet apartment overlooking the advanced research facilities. He found me running complex epidemiological simulations. "Sweetheart, I'm here to take you home. Anna, you are my ex-wife." I introduced him to Dr. Sato. "Jasper, we are finished. Please, leave." He was desperate, seeing the genuine, peaceful connection between Dr. Sato and me. "I can explain everything. Vivian was just a tactical maneuver. We can try for a family now. I only love you." I stared at him, my heart cold and immovable. "I don't love you anymore. You can control the global health market, but my heart is no longer yours." He saw the absolute, terrifying truth of my rejection. He left, the man who once commanded my total devotion, now defeated by my simple, profound freedom. I continued to build my new life, meticulously removing the possibility of his shadow ever touching me again. Dr. Kenji Sato became my trusted colleague and friend. "Anna, your new project on rapid disease containment is exceptional. You should present it at the upcoming International Public Health Summit," he encouraged, his support purely based on my intellectual talent. His gentle encouragement was everything Jasper's demands were not. Jasper, however, refused to accept defeat. He bought the entire research complex next door, sending daily gifts and rare antique medical texts, desperately trying to recreate the early magic of our relationship. "Little scientist, I brought you a signed copy of a Louis Pasteur paper. We are neighbors now. I'll bring you treasures every day." I remained completely unmoved. "Jasper, stop wasting your time. Your gifts mean nothing. I stopped loving you a long time ago. On what would have been our 11th anniversary, I ended the charade forever." "Jasper, you can come in. This is the last time." I gave him my 3 impossible demands. I wish my sister were healthy and whole. I wish my child were safe in my arms. I wish for all the cruelty to be erased. We are done. My only wish is that you vanish from my life forever." He was devastated, clinging to the only token he saw as proof of my continued devotion. "You're lying. You still have that old children's microscope. You still care." I placed the precious microscope into the chemical disposal unit. "It means nothing. It's obsolete, and I'm destroying the past." A few days later, Mr. Hayes found me. "Ms. Solis, Mr. Thorne suffered a catastrophic, near-fatal accident. He's in a coma, calling your name. For the 9 years you shared, please, go see him." My resolve was absolute. "I am not Mrs. Thorne. I will not give him false hope. His fate is his own." Jasper, upon briefly regaining consciousness, received the final, devastating intelligence. His uncle and Vivian had orchestrated the latest accident and financial scheme to seize control. Jasper, in his final conscious act, signed his last will, transferring all his assets to me. Hayes, all my wealth goes to Lyra Rhodes now. He then discharged himself from the hospital, beginning a solitary, desperate journey to retrace our past, searching for the innocent love he had destroyed. He was found lifeless at the base of a secluded medical research tower overlooking the city while retrieving a rare, antique pharmaceutical patent we once studied together. Mr. Hayes delivered the final news and a small, worn, gold-plated miniature flask. Mr. Thorne passed away. He left everything to you. He wished for you to create a foundation for ethical medical research and public health advocacy, in your name. My final words were whispered to the quiet air, the words of a survivor who finally won. I will honor the Foundation's purpose. Rest in peace. May we never cross paths again. My peace was complete, secured by the terrible, final price of the man who had loved me, tormented me, and ultimately died trying to buy back the love he had thrown away.